Hello friends, Duncan here. Plan for today is to take my 25-year-old Leica camera body along with my 40-year-old Leica 50mm Summicron and some expired film. Try to take a few shots here in the Charleston market. Really great place, fairly sunny today. I'm using Ilford XP2 film, which is out of the box ISO 400, resetting that to ISO 200 just because it's fairly sunny and I want to be able to access more f-stop to be able to open up the lens just a little bit more. So that's the plan for today. Walk around, take some pictures. This is either going to go well, could potentially go bad with the expired film. Anxious to see how that's going to turn out. Just a little bit about the equipment I'll be using today. The camera body is a M6 TTL with a 0.85 viewfinder. The camera is about 20 years old. Two things that I really like about the M6 TTL. First thing is that the shutter knob falls in a perfect position to be adjusted by your index finger as you're holding the camera. Second thing, you'll see the off position in the shutter knob, and that allows you to turn off the electric light meter, which is the only electronic component in the camera. So should the battery go dead, the camera will still fully function. And the lens is a Leica 50mm Summicron with a f rating from 2.0 up to 16. It is a Mark IV. Another thing that I really like about this lens is that it does have the focus tab on the bottom of the lens that you can operate with your left hand as you're focusing. Finally, the film I'll be using today is the Ilford XP2. This is a great black and white film. It uses C41 development process, and as you'll see later, I found a local developer in the Charleston area that offered next day service. So for shooting today, I'm planning on using the Ilford XP2. It uses a C41 development process, and one of the features of the film is its ability to be pushed and pulled in camera to modify the ISO rating. And as I'm driving into downtown Charleston, I'm taking a look at the light, and it's a fairly bright day. Shadows are fairly strong. At the box, it's a 400 ISO film, which is a little fast, so I think what I'm going to do is actually slow that down to 200. And the issue is that with the 400 film and being fairly bright, it would really push my f-stops up fairly high, and that's going to limit what I can do. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually, even though it's a 400 film, I'm going to adjust it down to 200 and go that way. So after getting to the market, I stopped in a coffee shop and loaded my film and set my ISO. Then it was time to hit the streets. As I was walking around, I found an area where the horse carriages come back to load up their passengers, and it was a great spot to try some shallow field of view and try to open up the lens as much as possible. So let's see what the photos look like. As I was walking around, I also noticed a young man that was selling what is known as a Charleston palmetto rose. It's a unique and culturally significant craft that has originated in Charleston. It's made from the fronds of the state tree, the sable palmetto. Palmetto rose has a rich history tied to Charleston's cultural identity and deeply rooted in the Gullah Geechee traditions. The process of creating a palmetto rose involves carefully folding and weaving the palmetto fronds to make a beautiful rose-like flower. Over time, the palmetto rose has evolved into a beloved symbol of Charleston, embraced by locals and tourists alike as a meaningful keepsake. The Charleston palmetto rose serves as a powerful reminder of the city's rich history, cultural heritage, and the skilled craftsmanship of the people. So after I left the market, I went to Prism Photo, located in Mount Pleasant, and the development fee and scanning to USB was roughly $13 for a 36 exposure roll. So one of the things about film is the anticipation and waiting to get the developed files back. So I was pleasantly surprised when I picked it up and took a look at the pictures. Shooting film causes you to slow down. You're more deliberate. You're valuing each shot that you take, and I think you're much more cautious, and I also think you have much more quality in your composition and thought process that goes into each and every shot. So out of the 36 exposures, pretty much every exposure was developed properly from a shutter speed and aperture opening perspective. Pulling the film from 400 down to 200 had no effect and really allowed me to use more aperture opening than I would have been able to do otherwise. So I hope you enjoy the results. I think at the end of the day, the outing was highly successful. I would appreciate any comments that you have, especially with regard to pushing and pulling the C41 film, but I found it pretty forgiving. Thanks, and appreciate you watching.